Hello everyone, my name is Ty, otherwise known as 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be giving a tutorial on how to AFK farm in Astro Renaissance after the 2024 Everlasting Flowers update. With the release of the 2024 Everlasting Flowers update, the original most efficient way to farm in Astro Renaissance, which was Find the Differences, has changed slightly with the addition of a new image. This caused a ton of panic in the community and caused a lot of people to believe that AFK farming had been ruined forever. But me and a couple members of the community have put together a new way to AFK farm that isn't much different from the original way and has roughly the same tickets per hour. And while this method requires a little bit of additional setup, it will still allow everyone to AFK farm with the same efficiency as before. It's a little bit confusing at first, as you need a couple of additional programs rather than just your mouse macro like TinyTask or Remouse, but that's the purpose of this tutorial. So without further ado, let's begin. So, what is this new method of farming? To put it simply, we'll be clicking all 18 of the spots during one round of Find the Differences. This will allow for whatever mouse macro you're using to not mess up during the two different rounds. Since they're randomized, there was thought to be no efficient way to have your mouse macro switch back and forth between the two different rounds, so we've created the method of just clicking them all at once. Additionally, by using this method, you prevent yourself from losing additional points, and you stop your mouse macro from breaking during the different rounds. Community member 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵 created a click map to help with this process that I have tweaked to make a little bit more accurate with their permission. It will be available for you to download in the description below, along with a link to a Google Doc made by Rosie that she has written out all of these steps just in case you would rather read along than just watch the video on its own. Like I said before, what you're going to want to do with this image is click all of these spots within the 30-second window that Find the Differences gives you. Doing this will ensure that your auto clicker won't break, it will be able to play through all of the rounds perfectly fine, and you'll be fueling all of your endless AFK farming needs. Once you have the click map downloaded, you're going to want to go and download this program called PureRef. PureRef is a program that will allow you to overlay images, in this case the click map, transparently on top of Roblox so that you can see it and align it correctly with Find the Differences. This will ensure that your auto clicker is properly aligned and hitting in the right spot so that it again won't break. Once we have PureRef downloaded, we're gonna go ahead and open the program. Now, sometimes when you open this program, it shows up beneath your windows. It doesn't happen every time, and it does not happen for me here, but if it does, we're just going to minimize our windows, and we're going to find this black box back here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go mode, and then go always on top and make sure that that's activated. As you can see, when we go back into Roblox, our PureRef is on top, and I can click beneath into Roblox and move my camera around as we see fit. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to our downloads folder or wherever we downloaded that click map, and we're going to drag it onto PureRef right here. So as you can see, we have dragged and dropped that image, and now it is confined in the small black window that we have here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to right click our image, go back down to mode, and then go into overlay mode as you can see here. And what that's going to do is that's going to blow up your image. It is now transparent. You can click underneath Roblox, you can spin your camera, and that is exactly what we need. If you click on one of the spots themselves, you can click and drag and resize our reference. And that is what we're going to be using when we want to align our image to our Find the Differences. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up Find the Differences. We're going to click choose and then play. And we're going to click and drag these spots and make sure that they are in the correct alignments. I'm going to make sure that I am in full screen mode here. because it just makes things a lot easier. And then you will see this blue outline, and in the top corners you can click and drag and resize our image to make sure that things are properly aligned in our Find the Differences. Now, you can do this on either of the 2 rounds, and usually what I do is I do it on one, and then I play a couple of rounds until I get the other one so that I can check it against that one as well. As you can see here, we are just going to be checking to make sure that these things are lined up. I don't think this is lined up too well here, so we're just going to scooch these spots just a little bit over. Now that we're here and that we've made sure that everything is properly aligned in both images, we're going to go ahead and right click any of these dots. It does need to be one of the dots, but it does not matter which one. And we're going to go mode down here and then transparent to mouse. What this setting does is it allows us to click into Roblox underneath these spots, where before if we would click these spots we would be moving them and clicking and dragging. Now we're just going to go ahead and test, make sure that things are properly aligned, so we're going to go to Find the Differences and click play. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click all of these spots on Moonlight's face and make sure that everything is working properly. It seems that everything works for this round and it's all properly aligned, so now I'm going to go ahead and keep playing until we get to our rockstar image instead, so that we can test and make sure that everything is properly aligned there as well. Alright, now that we have our rockstar image, we're going to go ahead and click all of these spots to make sure that everything is aligned. This spot here is very important. We're going to want to make sure that these 2 individual spikes are lined up because they're individual spots. Everything here seems to be properly lined up, so now we're going to move on to the next step of actually recording our macros. Now that we have everything properly aligned, we're going to go ahead and open up our mouse macro of choice. The one that I will be using and that most of the community uses is called Tiny Task. It's this small window up here, and the first thing we're going to want to do is open this Preferences tab and change a couple of things. We're going to make sure that the play speed is at 1, we have continuous playback on, and that we have always on top activated. These 3 things are very important to make sure that we have the smoothest macro possible. Now, we're going to set up a keybind to stop our macro, and we're going to go back into Preferences and then go down here to Playback Hotkey. For me, I have it set to F8 because I have function keys on my keyboard, but if you don't have those, you can set it to Ctrl-Shift-Alt-P or to the print screen button. You do not want to set it to function 12, as this function key is a hotkey in Roblox that will automatically start recording your screen, which isn't a problem but is a little bit awkward. Once we have these things set up, we're going to go ahead and record a macro. You're going to want to go through the entire process of opening and playing through Find the Differences. While doing this, you're going to want to click through all of these spots on screen in this very specific order. This will ensure that you do not fail one of the rounds because you messed up too many times, but it will also give you enough time to get through that entire round of blue and close it properly. Next, we're going to go up here and we're going to end our recording. At this point, if your macro is correct, you can also close Pure Ref because you won't be needing it anymore. I usually leave mine open until I've checked my macro against both versions to find the difference, just in case I need to realign things or if I've clicked in the wrong spot and have to redo my macro. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead here and click play. And as you can see, my Tiny Task is working and it is just doing everything for me, and it is playing through our round of Find the Differences without me having to do anything. We are going to watch as it plays through this Rockstar version, and as we can see, it is clicking all of the points and has clicked all of the red spots so the game mode has ended, but because we've given enough time to finish the blue round and click that end button, our macro has not broken at all. And by leaving Tiny Task at the top of our screen, it can go back to this record button flawlessly and continue to autoplay. So now, what we're going to do is sit here until we get that other round so that we can see that it does indeed fully function and doesn't break. Alright, so we are finally at our blue image. We are going to go ahead and watch as our macro goes through and clicks in all of these spots and make sure that everything is working correctly. Everything is working properly right now. It is clicking all of our spots and we are losing points for the red, but that is to be expected. With this new method, you will be losing between 6 and 9 points per round, but that won't be affecting your tickets per hour, and this is still just as effective as the original method. This is because the fluctuation of points in Find the Differences is very large, seeing as sometimes you get 1 point for a spot and other times you get 15. This 9-point fluctuation really does not end up making a difference and you still hit that same tickets per hour number as before. At this point, you will be able to close Pure Ref as you will not be needing it anymore. I'm gonna just go ahead and do that now, and finally, we are done setting up our macros. Now, Tiny Task seems to have the ability to save your macros, and while that feature currently is not working for me because it does seem to be a little bit buggy, and there's an off chance that it will not work for you as well, you will have to set all of this up every time you want to AFK farm. But if you set it up at night, or even while you're at school, it's still super helpful to farm tickets while you are busy doing something else. Now, I personally don't mind having this set up every time I want to AFK farm, as it really doesn't take that long once you get the hang of it. I just wanted a very in-depth tutorial for everyone to follow along and understand how this new method works so that you can all do it in your own time. But if this save feature is working for you, you will be able to just go ahead and up here click the save button, which will prompt you to name your macro. Once you have it named, you can then load it. As long as you're sitting in roughly the same spot, you should be able to play through this macro again without having to set everything up every time you want to AFK farm. So, without further ado, let's get on to the end of the video. Alright everyone, that was the tutorial on how to AFK farm in Astro Renaissance after the Everlasting Flowers update of 2024. If this method ever becomes outdated, or if someone makes a more efficient method, I will be recording a new tutorial on that as well. This method can net you between 20 and 30,000 tickets an hour, depending on how fast your macro is. I have found that I typically get around 25,000 tickets an hour using this method, but depending on if your macro doesn't have unlimited repetitions, maybe it only has 4 or 15 as Remouse does, it will possibly net you a little less because you will have to be manually repeating every time you want this macro to work. But that was the tutorial. Thank you so much everybody for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you found it helpful, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as I plan on making more Astro Renaissance and Roblox content soon. Make sure to spread this around the community so that everyone knows that AFK farming indeed is not dead. Happy farming everyone! Goodbye!